On? Are you on? Hello? I am Ray, and don't let the Matrix steal your life. What are you doing? You like my moose? His name is Goose. Goose the moose. Loosey goosey moosey. What this actually means, most people are trapped in this little bubble. And society tells us all, look, here's the deal. If you want to survive and not die, you need money. Money. So what do? We look and say, okay, well, we need money. What do we do to get money? Sell drugs? I don't know about that. Maybe. We search for a job. Like Steve. You remember Steve? So what do? We spend our life trying to get money. Working a job we probably don't like. For measly scraps. What is going on here? When trillions of dollars are printed out of thin air for no reason other than that somebody wants it. So have you ever wondered why, things are set up that way? Where the plebs, the people at the bottom, have to slave their life away for nothing. And then also the government takes half of their money in taxes. And then they just print trillions anyway. Why do they need your taxes if they got trillions? You ever thought of this? It's because the system is not set up in your benefit. People who know realize that money has no value. It's all just numbers. It makes no sense. It's all just paper. But we give value to this for no other reason than because we believe we need it. You believe slavery into existence because you believe the lies that the Matrix tells you. And the reason that it's set up this way is because the true currency, the only currency in existence, the only thing of any value is energy. And energy is life. It's the same thing. That is why the whole battery in the Matrix was a thing. Because people are ignorant of their power. Somebody who's not ignorant steals their power and causes them to focus on what they want. Whoever's in charge. And so what happens? We spend our energy focusing on things that don't really matter all that much to us. We give the only thing that matters for something that doesn't really matter at all. But the deal is, you have to give it away of your own consent, your own free will. And that's the problem. It's not like there's some evil dictators controlling everything, forcing you to do things. They get you to want to do it by manipulating you. That's the whole game of the forces of the darkness and the demonic. They have to get you to believe that you do not have any power, that you are powerless, so that you freely give the power that you do have, you give it away by focusing on nonsense, by wasting it. And you're getting attacked by all of these different angles, like social media and Netflix, programming into you certain beliefs. And like I bet you didn't know this, but you ever wonder why eggs and bacon are a breakfast? That was a marketing campaign back in the day because the whoever couldn't sell enough bacon. So they said, how do we increase bacon sales? Oh, I get it. We make bacon and eggs a breakfast thing. And then their sales went up, and now we just assume that bacon and eggs is breakfast. Not realizing that that was an idea implanted into us long ago. And you see people nowadays awakening to the fact that the whole old way of doing things, like you're going to get a job, you're going to get a 401k, retirement and everything, then you settle down, get a white picket fence, none of that works. It worked for maybe a brief period of time, and then never again. And that existed because, well, guess what? Somebody said, hey, let's program them the American dream so they do what we want. Satisfy them the little needs, give them some crumbs, give them some circus. They'll be okay. And then we'll just go do what we want while they're distracted. At least that's how I would do it. if I was evil. The whole idea of waking up is realizing that you had the power all along. You see, your mind is a tool that directs the flow of energy. See? And because your energy is your creative power, you will always create more of what you focus on. Where attention goes, energy flows. So all anyone has to do to manipulate you is to take your focus and get you to focus on what they want. Oftentimes, not in your best interest. So you have to take your power back and begin focusing on what you want. And stop focusing on what you don't want. Because whatever it is you believe and assume, that will be true for you. Like if you believe it's hard to make money, you are going to struggle forever because your belief is keeping you trapped in this prison. The prison of your mind. That is the Matrix. The Matrix is not really some cabal of reptilians. In fact, you are the ruler of the Matrix. Did you know this? I don't think you knew this. Because you enslave yourself and you set yourself free. It's all you. So you look at your life right now and you look at the things that are going on. And well, first you gotta realize that you are the cause. If you think that life is just happening to you and it's somebody else's fault because they're evil and you're the good innocent one, you're never going to be free. That is what taking your power back means. It means taking responsibility for your life and the things you focus on. So your life right now is an accumulation of your beliefs and assumptions and what you focus on and what you think about. And also what you do. So if life isn't going the way you want it to, you stop focusing on all the ways life sucks, and you change your beliefs, you change your assumptions, you change your thoughts. That's the only way life changes, because life is a reflection of you. The outer world and the inner world are reflections of each other. And the first step is paying attention to the thoughts that you think consciously and the words that you speak. I like to say, if people only paid attention for one day to the words that they speak and the thoughts that they think, they would have no question why their life is the way it is. It's obvious. Once you pay attention, you can hear people talk, and you realize why their life is the way it is. There's no question about it. But for us, we have blind spots. So we don't realize, oh, I don't get it. Why is my life like this? That is why we have to start paying attention. Because with your words, with your assumptions, with your beliefs, with your thoughts, you're creating your reality. And you can test it out. If you expect all kinds of bad things to happen, guess what? All kinds of bad things will happen. And if you expect all kinds of good things to happen, all kinds of good things will happen. Now, how does that make sense? If life was like objective, right? Wouldn't you just imagine that you would get a combination of both? And yet you can change your experience in this life by what you believe. And your experiences will change. Now that's not very objective, is it? If life was objective, it wouldn't matter what you believed. In a mad world, the realists lose. Which means, if you just focus on what you already have, you're only going to get more of just the same. Because you're just creating more of what you focus on. And also, if you focus on the past and how things went wrong then, you're just bringing those problems into the present moment to deal with again in the future. That is why some people are like broken records. They repeat the same problems, the same patterns over and over and over again, because that is all they focus on. They're stuck in the past. They're resentful for what happened or whatever. And that fundamentally comes down to their beliefs. The beliefs about what happened to them. If you believe yourself to be a victim and a slave, you will be. If you feel like you have no power because society tells you, hey, you gotta do this and you got no choice, or you're gonna die, you're gonna be homeless, you're gonna be pooping in buckets, you're not gonna be having no fun. Well, then that's the life you're gonna live. And until you realize that your circumstances have no power over you, you will believe that you are a slave to your circumstances. You must train yourself to focus on what you do want and take your focus away from what you don't want. And it doesn't matter what the evidence says. Because if the evidence says your life sucks, well, it serves you no good by focusing on it. Like, for example, if you're broke, you can't be focusing on all the ways that sucks. Because it's going to make you feel bad. It's going to make you take wrong actions and just fuel negative thoughts about money and how much life sucks. Instead, you have to shut out the external world and imagine the life that you want. Because so long as you're mucking about in the world, your attention is going to get pulled all over the place. Your power is going to get pulled all over the place. Like a laser beam that's out of control. Just bzz, 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 creating all kinds of havoc in your life. To close your eyes, find some stillness and some silence. Forget about the world. It's irrelevant anyway. You are the cause of your reality. You are not at the effect. And the more you can't stop reacting to the world, the more it means stop focusing on it. You take out your little journal or whatever, and you start thinking about at least just one thing that you want to change. Whatever is the most pressing problem in your life. And you write down a statement like, I want a job that covers all of my needs, where I don't have to slave away my life. How about that? You figure out what you want, what you desire, and just do one thing. If you try and do all kinds of things, your focus is not going to create anything. Your creative power is determined by your ability to focus on one thing long enough to see results. So you pick one problem to solve, and then whatever it is that you desire, the only thing you have to do is feel like it's already true. Like Jesus said, when you pray, pray as though it is already given to you, and it will be. He was the master at manifestation. I don't know if you knew this. It was also like when the bleeding woman went to go find Jesus because she thought that if she could just touch one garment or one thread of his garment, that he would be healed from this disease or whatever that she'd been struggling with for like 10 years. Because obviously Jesus was known as this great healer. So there was a big crowd and Jesus was surrounded. And she was like, oh, I gotta go touch his garment. I have to do this. So she made her way and grabbed onto his thread. And in that moment he felt a power leave him. And he said, who touched me? Who did this? And she said, it was me. And he inquired. He said, why did you do this? And she told him, she said, I thought that if I could just touch your garment, I would be healed. And it was true. I felt I am healed now. And it was so. And he got down and told her, it was not I that healed you. It was your faith. That is the secret. Jesus was someone who others could have faith in because they couldn't have faith in themselves. And whatever you have faith and certainty in, it will be true. And the more certainty you have, the more easily it will come into your life. So the goal is, you have this desire, and you have to make yourself believe that it's already yours. And you don't worry about how. And the way to create a sense of certainty is through feeling. That is why Neville Goddard said, feeling is the secret. And here's the deal. Because you have old beliefs that are no longer serving you, that must be gotten rid of before what you want can come into your life, you have to pay attention when those thoughts arise. And you consciously have to deny those thoughts and say, no, that's not the life that we're living anymore. We're living this life. And you don't have to fight with your thoughts. You just stop feeding them. Meaning, you don't focus on them. You don't give them your time and your attention. You don't ruminate on them. If anything, you consciously say, oh, I'm going to ruminate on the good stuff now. I'm going to focus on that because right now you can think about whatever. So through your mind, through your imagination, you have the power to think about what you want. What you're doing is you're going into the infinite potential and bringing into actuality the reality that you want. So maybe you imagine what it's like to be free financially and not having to slave your life away. And in that moment, your body feels like it's actually happening. And it happens all the time. If you're like daydreaming and stuff, sometimes you're actually like you move or you're talking. Or like when you're falling asleep, your body literally feels like you're falling and you're and your body can't tell the difference between what is true in your imagination and what is true in the world. So you can use your imagination to create a new reality. And your outer reality will change to reflect the new reality that you want to live. And all you have to do is not feed the negative beliefs. And when you go back out into the world and you do your things and you go to your job and you hate your boss, and your boss comes in and says, "Oh, I hate this bald man." In that moment, you don't continue to focus on how much your life sucks. You focus on reaffirming the reality that you do want. Because every moment that you experience something that's not to your liking, you can use it as an opportunity to reaffirm the opposite. So you say something like, "I can't wait for my new job, I'm so excited." And you can work yourself up into an emotional state and start to feel better. But if you just allow the negative thoughts to run amok, you're going to feel bad. It's not going to help you. And a big part of this is surrendering and letting go. Because right now, you can literally just say, "It's all going to work out perfectly. Forget about it. I'm choosing not to pick these things up anymore. I'm choosing not to think about the problems. I'm allowing life to take care of me." Because the biggest reason that we believe that, well, it's not possible, is because we place the whole burdens of the world upon ourselves as the mind or as the ego. A limited state of consciousness is not very good at anything. But through surrender and letting go, we allow the divine to take care of us. And that is something that we can have faith and certainty in. And this is why God saves. Because you can just literally give it all to God and never worry about it again. And be like a little baby and say, "God, I want this. Can I have this?" Okay. Move on with your life. And you will be provided for. And you won't have to worry about anything anymore. Because the only reason we were struggling and suffering is because we said, "I have to do it all. It's all up to me." But when you let go of that, you let go of control, you stop allowing your attention to be hijacked. And now you allow God to nudge you in the right direction. Now God can save you from the matrix. I am Ray. Join the Spiritual Rebels community. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.